Hey everybody, I am JC Peretz and I'm here joined by my man Louis Sykes. Louis in the house. Say hi to the folks, Louis. Tell
Hey
everybody you said
guys,
hello.
welcome from New Zealand. I'm so happy to be here to talk about crypto today and talk about some of the opportunities that are out there.
All right, so we got the mic set up. We're ready. We're live streaming. Spencer, are we good? Are we can the folks hear us?
We rolling.
Oh,
We're
we're
rolling.
rolling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. We are here today to talk to you about why we're so excited about Bitcoin, why we're so excited about cryptocurrencies in general, why the blockchain is so exciting and so interesting to learn about. And then, most importantly, why are we doing this in the first place, Louis? We are here to make money in the market. It's a beautiful thing. There's so many opportunities. This space continues to grow. You and I have traded through multiple cycles. Folks, for those of you who don't know Louis Sykes was the head of crypto at All Star Charts for quite some time. We are this is the beginning of our new journey here at ASC Crypto. Louis, I've made so much money by your side over the years. We have never had this many tools to our disposal and this much data that we have today. Imagine if we had this stuff. Tell the folks how well we would have done in prior cycles had we had this data.
Well, let me tell you guys that we are so prepared for this new bull market. The data that we have, the new proprietary scans that we've built, we have some really exciting stuff that I'm so excited to show off to you guys.
And think about all the things, folks, that if you even knew manually all of the things that we used to have to do that now we have automated, and like now we can't screw it up, and we're getting the data faster, so it makes it more actionable, which it makes it easier for us to make money. I mean, it really is fascinating to see. And these are all tools and strategies that we built selfishly, like for ourselves, and now we're showing you and letting you participate in that as well and join us in this journey. So let's talk about, first we're going to talk about what's going on with cryptocurrencies, why we're so excited, why we're so bullish of the space, why we have been for so long. We're going to talk about some of the things that we've been hearing, the ETFs, the halving. We're getting a lot of questions, a lot of JC. I've never traded crypto before. I'm new to this. Well, you've come to the right place, because this is year. I had my first Bitcoin 10 years ago. I had my first Bitcoin. So the struggle was real back in the day, folks. Things are a lot easier to do now. Most cryptocurrencies, almost all of them that we're talking about, you can buy in centralized exchanges very, very easily. It's not like the old days. So to get started, we're going to talk about that on Friday, by the way. ASC Crypto members, remember, Friday, 2:00, all of the how-to from the beginning. All right, Louis, why we're bullish crypto in general, why we're so excited about it. Me first or you first? What do you think
I'm
the
going to
folks
go
want to hear?
first because I'm probably more excited than you are.
Wow.
Bitcoin trading near all-time highs. Just look at what's happened in this market over just the last month, let alone the last year, the last 18 months. Guys, there's a lot of money that's being made right now, and it's incredibly exciting.
Yeah, so we've been following the space for quite some time, and the trade had been flip the book, mortgage the house, go all in on Bitcoin on a breakout above 31,000. Remember that? Like, people joke, like, haha, JC. Well, here we are. Mission accomplished, target achieved. We're back at the all-time highs, right? Now it's all over, right? That's it. Mission accomplished? Hell no. I think we're just getting started. I think the big breakout is coming. The first thing I want to talk about is the difference between the halving and the is it so some people call it the halving. I like to call it the halving because that's what's happening, right? Halving sounds more like a movie title, right? It's the halving.
I'm with you.
All right, folks, it is we just decided it is officially called the halving. Um, it's interesting. I think the bigger story is coming from the ETFs and it's going unnoticed, right? So we're getting a lot of questions from everybody. Let's address that. Why is this part of the bullish thesis? What about it isn't? Let's describe that. From my perspective, Louis, I'm seeing the halving coming up. 93% of all the Bitcoin has already been mined, right? It already exists. So there's only 7% out there left. So the mining
Hang on,
companies
JC,
that,
let me just stop you. What even is the halvening, and can you describe what the halving is?
wow, I like how you did that. So upcoming now. Actually, why don't you tell the folks? Because you'll probably say it better than me. I mean, I get it. for every Bitcoin you're mining, you're getting half of what you were getting, right? That's coming now in the coming month. That's enough for me. So why don't you tell the folks a little bit more detailed, what is it that's happening next month?
Yeah, guys, there's a lot of noise, a lot of jargon in the world of crypto. So let's just take a step back and ask what actually is the halving. So there are Bitcoin miners who mine Bitcoin to secure the network. And every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that they get from mining halves. And so that means that the supply dries up, the supply is a little bit more scarce, and generally the Bitcoin market has followed this 4 year cycle where after every halving, so that means every time that Bitcoin miner rewards get halved, prices go up. That has been the historical trend.
So essentially, the Bitcoin miners that are selling the Bitcoin that they are mining, now by definition, they will be selling half as much. So is that bearish that there is now less supply coming into the market from this particular group? No, it's not bearish. It's certainly on the bullish side of the equation. But for me, how bullish is it? Is it really that material? I'm not convinced. For me, guys, the reason I'm bullish is not because of the halving. Like, that's great and everything. It's the demand side of the equation, Louis. These these ETFs, the new nine as they're calling them, these ETFs are now approved. They're now trading. And going into this event, we knew again it wasn't going to be bearish, right? It's not bearish that now all of these institutions that could not participate in this market now can. We knew that wasn't bearish. The question was more so, how bullish is it? How much of it is priced in? And I was pretty optimistic in suggesting that, some of it is priced in. I was still pretty bullish, but oh my God, it has exceeded all of my expectations. This is completely unprecedented. Again, we knew it wasn't bearish. We knew it was at least somewhat bullish, but oh my God, there's more volume trading in these Bitcoin ETFs than SPY and QQQ. Like, that's insanity. That's off the charts, Louis.
I track the flows every day, every single day. Inflow, inflow, inflow. They have opened the floodgates to allow these big institutional players that have mandates that couldn't be in this market before. Now they're in and they are buying so much, it's ridiculous. And to put this into perspective, it took the gold ETF 2 years to reach $10 billion in assets under management. It has only taken 2 months for the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF to reach the same milestone. 2 months.
So, folks, what does this mean for you? What does this mean for investors? Let's bring this back to what's important. How do we make money from this? Well, Bitcoin, Spencer, if you could throw up the chart, Bitcoin is now back to those former highs, right under 70,000, $68,000, $69,000. And that's where we peaked a few years ago, right? As you can see in this chart. So we know that there's more sellers than buyers at these levels. We know that from experience. That's why prices went down. So we know that. We're seeing the churning taking place now. This is demand absorbing that overhead supply. So as investors, what does this mean? The fact that now the largest institutions in the world, which many of them by their mandate were not allowed to buy Bitcoin, could not participate in these markets. Now they can. So you have this overwhelming amount of demand coming in, all of these new buyers. And yes, for individuals, you could buy it in your IRA now. You couldn't do that before. You could buy it in other tax deferred vehicles. You can buy it in your normal stock brokerage account. Your financial advisor can buy it for you. There's nothing stopping individual investors from owning Bitcoin. And that's great. Again, that's certainly not bearish. There's certainly more opportunities for demand to come in. But again, the big story here is coming from the institutions. Louis, tell them.
And so you think Bitcoin is going to 100,000? Is that just a clean, pretty round number? How do you get the 100,000?
Well, we're going to talk about some of the details on Friday in our how-to and how to analyze and how to make these calculations. But, there's a combination of measured moves and Fibonacci extension levels that match up right around 102. So that 100 level, that psychological level is 100. I've got higher price targets in Bitcoin, let me tell you, not just 100,000, but I certainly think that's next. And I want to talk about, again, bringing it back to making money, right? I know you're out there listening. You're like, well, JC, that's great. You guys are bullish. And by the way, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I have 7 figures in crypto assets, a combination of liquid assets, a combination of crypto hedge funds that I'm invested in, mining companies that I'm invested in. I'm in. Right? I'm in. I'm adding to positions. Right? Like we're doing this. We actually put on an options trade today on Mara. And now we have another Bitcoin trade on a breakout above 70. Again, we'll talk about all that stuff on Friday. We're bullish. Now let's bring it back to, again, what's the best way to maximize this? Because buying Bitcoin is great, right? You could just buy the S&P 500. But if you're looking to swing, if you're looking to make big money, you got to look down the cap scale. You have to look back to the smaller cryptocurrencies, the ones that can go up 20 times, 50 times, 100 times easily. We've seen it before. We will definitely see it again. And crypto markets are ripe for that sort of situation. And what I want you guys to understand is that we've seen this story before. Okay. Spencer, why don't you throw up the what happened 20 years ago?
Guys, before we came on, he was talking to me how excited he was about this whole ETF because he compared it to the gold ETF. Now, when the gold ETF went public all those years ago, sure, gold went up, but it was the small micro cap miners all the way in Vancouver who, 20x,
That's right.
100x.
That's right.
Those were the big winners, guys.
That's right. So this is just a classic example. So what do we have now? We have Bitcoin adding an ETF. It allows all of these investors, particularly the institutions. Yes, retail investors too, tax deferred accounts. I'm doing it myself for sure. Yes, not bearish. It's the fact that the institutions can come in. That's what's moving the needle. We saw the same thing 20 years ago, guys. I used to be a gold bug. True story. I promise you. Ask my old friends. They'll tell you I was that guy. But it's because gold was trending higher. Being a gold bug was cool back then, you see. So what happened was gold had been going straight down for 20 years. Since it peaked in the late 70s, early 80s, gold was just the worst investment on the planet. And then it started to change. And then it started to appreciate a little bit. And then they launched the ETF. And what did that mean? It meant that new participants that couldn't be in gold before now had the ability to do so. If you were a mutual fund manager in 2004, 2003, 2002, you couldn't just go buy gold bullion and put it in your mutual fund. Like you weren't allowed to do that, right? Like you couldn't, the pension funds, they just weren't allowed to do that. Now, all of a sudden they were. And what happened? The price of gold absolutely exploded. Look at the GLD fund. By the way, I went to a true story. I went to the 10-year anniversary of the GLD fund with Chris Venn and Josh Brown and all that. That was back in the day in 2014. Great party, by the way, at the St. Regis in New York City. That's a whole nother story. This really set off a chain of events that made personal friends of mine very, very rich. Okay. And it wasn't because they owned the gold ETF. It's because they owned the little junior gold miner in Vancouver, right? That went up 100 times, 200 times what they paid for it. Going down the cap scale, you're getting what we call higher beta. That means it's going to be more volatile relative to its benchmark. So higher beta. So these smaller companies, gold mining stocks, silver mining stocks. Why don't you show a couple that were near and dear to my heart in that cycle there, Spencer, just to give some people just a little taste, and this wasn't even that far down the cap scale. These were, regularly sized, mining stocks. This is the old Silver Wheaton back in my day. This used to be SLW, ultimately changed its name to Wheaton Precious Metals after silver lost 85% of its value. It didn't want anything to do with it anymore. So it's now Wheaton Precious Metals. See how it does that? But at the time when precious metals were absolutely ripping, gold was ripping after the ETF. Look at Wheaton Precious Metals up 1,700%. Show Agnico. This is the other one, another monster. Agnico Eagle Mines, AEM, 3,300%. Absolute monster during that decade where gold ripped. Like gold tripled, quadrupled. That was great. But you have 30 baggers and then some. When you go down the cap scale, 200 baggers, 300 baggers. And I have friends that live in Vancouver. Canadians are notorious for, this particular style of investing. So they were crushing it. These are good buddies of mine. They're skiing every day in Whistler now. They're not working and they're younger than me, by the way. So, these guys really made a lot of money. I saw it because at the time I was in the large caps. I was in these stocks, by the way, Silver Wheaton, SLW, and AM, and we did great. Don't get me wrong. But then I'm on the phone with my friends and they're telling me about how much money they're making. I was going about it all wrong, which is, why when it comes to cryptocurrencies, I'm not messing around this time, Louis. And for those of you listening, I learned my lesson. And by the way, it's a good lesson to learn. I was able to learn that lesson making money, which is great, but I could have made so much more. I'm not making that mistake in Bitcoin. We've already seen it in prior cycles. And what we've done this time, folks, is that we have a very specific alert system that makes us aware when new ICOs, these are initial coin offerings, these are the IPOs of the crypto space, when they're exceeding a certain threshold of market cap, when they enter into our universe for the first time, we are notified. We didn't have that with the gold miners 20 years ago. We didn't even have that with the cryptocurrencies in the last couple of cycles. We have that now. And that's what I'm so excited for. Louis, why don't you give them a couple examples of the types of companies that are coming up? And then when we add the ability to follow the smartest wallets and combine those together, I mean, it's really unprecedented. I don't see anybody doing this. Obviously, this is new, so nobody's ever done this before, but I don't see anybody doing it now. And the other thing that I was going to tell you is the fact that we have all of this data now available on the blockchain, which has never been available ever in the history of investing, now it's available. The fact that we can take a peek and look at what the most successful wallets in the world have done with their portfolios and then what they're doing with their portfolios now. And
It's almost
combine.
unbelievable when you say it. It's like a cheat code. And guys, JC is talking about how excited he is over the previous gold cycle where these stocks were up 3,000% over 10 years. These cryptocurrencies can do that in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the sort of money that's being made here.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the market cap alert, we are the first people on the planet to be notified when a cryptocurrency exceeds $100 million in market cap. So when that happens, we're the first ones to know about it. And then we can overlay our technical analysis, our risk management, all of that stuff. And then we can make money because we're the first ones to know about it.
So here's the process. So we get tapped on the shoulder, right? So for you guys, you're like, well, how do I make money from this? Well, it's very simple. Think of it like this. And we're going to go over all of this on Friday in the how-to class and show you exactly what this means. But think about it like this. You wake up in the morning, you get tapped on the shoulder. Hey, there's this new coin, ABC coin. It's now $102 million in market cap. It has now entered into the universe. Now we can go ahead and take that coin. You're like, okay, well, it's making new highs. It's moving up. That's not bearish, right? The most bullish thing an asset can do is go up in price. Great. Then we go see who else is buying it. Who are all other wallets on chain that are buying this particular token? Do those wallets have a successful track record? Is this the smart money that's buying this token? Or is the smart money ignoring this token altogether? Right? We have that information in real time. That's the one that blows me away, Louis. Tell the folks, when we do these SEC filings, when Carl Icahn's buying a stock or Warren Buffett is buying a stock or Nancy Pelosi is YOLOing Tesla calls, they have to file with the SEC legally, right, that they're doing all of these things. And we find out, depending on the type of filing, 48 hours later, sometimes 45 days later, right? I mean, depending on the type of filing, some of those 13Fs are super delayed. But at the end of the day, it's not real time. On the blockchain, you literally have it in real time. We know who's doing what and when, right? I mean, it's unprecedented.
I almost just woke up this morning, guys, and I was like, wow, who's buying? What's the smart money doing this morning? Let me jump straight to my computer and see what's happening. This is so exciting. And Spencer, I want you to pull up that table that you had before because that's really just, there's so much edge in this table. Now, there's a lot happening here. So let's just take a step back and realize what I'm trying to show you here. So this is a list of the coins or the cryptocurrencies where smart money wallets increased their holdings by over $1 million over the last 7 days. And from the top, we've got the coin with the most amount of buying pressure over the last 7 days, and that's filtered down. And so these are the coins that smart money wallets. And what is a smart money wallet? A smart money wallet is a wallet that has a good track record. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a fund, if it's someone who's wealthy, as long as they've got a good track record, because they probably know what they're doing. And we can literally follow what they're doing in real time. And so I want to show you guys a really good example in recent times is Pepe coin. Now, Pepe coin, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but it's a meme, it's a joke on the internet, and there's a meme coin about it. And so, Spencer, let's pull up Pepe. This thing, again, to my point, these things can move 600% in a single week. Just look at this move. This is incredible. These are the types of moves that happen in crypto, and we're utilizing this data to essentially find these opportunities.
And I want to just
And
mention something very quickly, which has never been the case in other cycles. And I could tell you this because I've traded all these, cycles. I'll show you guys afterwards a couple of old charts that I found, which is pretty funny. But one thing that is different this cycle than the others, this Pepe coin is a $3 billion market capitalization.
that's not nothing.
3 billion translates into what would be the equivalent of a mid-cap stock in the Russell 3000, right? That would be a mid-cap stock. Just so you know, this is correct me if I'm wrong, this is the 42nd largest cryptocurrency. So, it's not like you're buying these penny stocks. It's not like you're speculating on something, that has like so little money and so little liquidity that, there's none of that. These are mid-cap stocks, right? Like these things are real. Again, we're being notified when they exceed the $100 million threshold and are sort of leaving the micro cap sort of status and entering the small cap status, which will be 300 million, right? Sort of that transition. We're being notified in that transition. So, there's, and it's right now, it's going to change. Right now, that's about the top 200, 220, Louis, technically.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just so excited. I just want to pull up that other slide, Spencer, about the on-chain, the black chart there. And so, guys, this is Wintermute Trading. They are one of the most well-known automated market-making firms in crypto. They're incredibly well-known. You could essentially call them the smart money. And now there's a lot happening here, but what I want to pull your attention to is this blue line here, this blue shaded line, because that's their holdings of the Pepe token. And now you can see that Wintermute Trading increased their exposure to this random coin by a factor of 6 before prices doubled in 2 days. Like, these guys know what they're doing. They're following money flow. They're following sentiment. And we're just simply saying, hey, look, we're just going to follow you into these trades. And then the magic of it, JC, is that we are overlaying our traditional technical analysis to identify where we're wrong, where we're right, when to take profits.
Yeah. I'm glad, I'm so happy you brought that up. So folks, if you didn't hear what he just said, this is really what brings it all together, right? It's that, our team, we are an institutional research first team. So that classic technical analysis that comes from traditional finance and traditional assets like stocks and interest rates and commodities and forex markets, we can now bring to the cryptocurrency markets. In fact, that's how we originally got in the cryptocurrency markets, is because we have price data that we can analyze, supply and demand. Spencer Israel, can you show them some of my charts that I found? So I was digging through some old stuff this week, and I found some old charts. I actually had my first Bitcoin 10 years ago. So here you can see Bitcoin. Look at this base. See, Louis? Tell the folks, if you're listening out there, I didn't just start looking at big bases, this week or this month. I've been looking for big bases my entire career. I learned it very, very young. The bigger the base, the higher in space. And look at this chart of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was at $1,000. I remember it was a big deal that it was breaking out above 1,000. It was wild at the time, Louis. Just look at this base. Keep going, Spencer. What else we got? This is a shorter term one, I think. Here we go. So think about how old school this was. I wasn't even using candlesticks for Bitcoin because of the lack, but it was more of it made the charts messy. because the price data was so shaky. So I'd rather use line charts just to clean it out. That's how, the struggle was real back in 2016, guys. We've come a long way in terms of price data and liquidity. We started covering it actually formally on April of 2016, as you saw in that chart there. And then look, Bitcoin versus gold. I was even comparing Bitcoin to gold then. You see, people are like, JC, what does Bitcoin have to do with gold? See, I've been comparing the two since day one, folks. You see, that's what I do. I compare things to each other, whether people like it
And
or not.
JC, let me stop you there. I wanna look at this chart because look, this reminds me exactly of where Bitcoin is at the
That's right.
moment. We're retesting those former all-time
Go back
highs,
to,
and
go
this
back to, hold on, because this is Bitcoin gold. Go back to the Bitcoin absolute, Spencer. There you go.
and so I wanna draw your guys' attention to the x-axis. Look at the dates. This is 2016, 2017, and this is Bitcoin before it made that monumental run from 1,000 to 20,000, literally 20x in the space of a year. And so this reminds me so much of where Bitcoin lies today because we're retesting those former highs. And we've formed this massive base. And so people say, well, look at how far crypto has run. Look at how far Bitcoin has run over the last 6 months. Guys, we've made zero progress in 2 or 3 years. This is only just getting started.
Spencer, can you do me a favor and throw up on new slide 3 here so you could see, so you could compare? I love the fact that what Louis is saying. Louis is like, this looks exactly like it does now. Here, Louis, you're so right. Folks, give Louis a big ups to Louis for calling that out. Good job, Louis. Show Spencer just how similar it looks. This is now, right? This is what Bitcoin looks like now as it's breaking out. Go back to the one from 2016 as it's breaking out above that former level. I mean, just absolute looks exactly the same, just big base, right? Getting back to those former 2014 highs and then breaking out. I mean, it's really the same thing now. So kudos to you, Louis. So, all right. So here's the process, right? You get tapped on the shoulder, right? Because now we have the ability to make our lives easier. This isn't 2014. This isn't 2016. This isn't even 2020. We've come a long way in technology. We've come a long way in the technology that we've built internally, right? It's not just, what the blockchain gives us, but what we've then been able to build with that data that we're going to continue to build. So you get tapped on the shoulder, be like, all right, this cryptocurrency is now entering $100 million market capitalization. What does that mean? Who's buying it? Who's not buying it? What are the technicals? How are they lining up? Where's the risk versus reward? How's the relative strength? How's this particular cryptocurrency doing relative to the rest of cryptocurrencies, right? That relative strength, and combining all of those to present us with favorable risk versus reward opportunities that we can continue to make over time. There's going to be trades that are going to compound 100, 200 times, right? We've seen it before. It's our job to catch those this cycle. And then there's going to be trades along the way. So for longer term investors, shorter term investors, same thing with the market, right? We've been short Apple. I don't think Apple's going to zero, but we've been taking advantage of being short Apple. So in the direction of underlying trends, there are trading opportunities along the way. So I think there's something for short-term people. I think there's something for long-term people.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to pull up, just this market cap alert. I just can't stop thinking about this. Again, we're the first people in the world to know when cryptocurrencies exceed certain market cap thresholds.
I love the fact that we can say that, because like every time you say we're the first people in the world to be able, I'm like, are we? And then when the way you finish your sentence, you're like, we're the first people in the world to be notified that this is entered. We're like, oh, that's actually true. We are the first people in the world. There might be somebody else that's doing that, but like, I'm not seeing it. But at the very least, we're the first one that's notified, and then we go from there. That's something that we've never, ever had, and I'm super excited. So why don't we tell the folks where they can get all of these things? If you're listening out there, you're interested in getting alerted when these particular cryptocurrencies enter our universe, when you're seeing them climbing up the leaderboard, right? Throw up that one slide 27 there. When you're seeing them climbing up the leaderboard, that's a heads up. That is literally relative strength by definition. When we talked about the Pepe token, that is what, the 42nd largest token right now. Again, climbing up the leaderboard, showing relative strength. Obviously, when we see the smart money on chain taking advantage of a particular situation, we want to be following the smart money, right? We literally have every wallet's track record. It's all a public ledger on the blockchain. That doesn't exist in the stock market. I wish it did. I wish it did. I wish it existed in the bond market. I wish it existed in the commodities market. It kind of exists in the commodities market, kind of, but not in real time. And you don't exactly have the exact details. You just have different groups. We have the exact wallets. We know what they've done since the wallet existed, right? We might not know the name of the person, or we might not know the name of the institution. Sometimes we do, because sometimes a lot of these institutions will tell you this is our wallet. So sometimes we know who it is, but it doesn't even matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. And guys, we're overlaying our technical analysis, so you get a technical analysis of all of these cryptocurrencies, the risk levels that we're watching, where we're taking profits, our targets. And so, JC, why don't you tell the folks a little bit more about this?
So we want to start with the technical analysis of the blue chip names: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, total crypto market cap, total crypto outside of Bitcoin. Those are the things that we want to monitor. You're always going to know the exact levels, what the targets are. We just laid out 70,000 and 100,000 in Bitcoin. We have our levels in Ethereum and Solana, and down the list, of course. Then you've got the emerging cryptocurrencies, which people call them total three is sort of the what sort of people call them. But it goes all the way down to about the top 200 cryptocurrencies. When they enter that universe, we're immediately notified. In my opinion, that's the real alpha here. That's where we're going to make the majority of our money. That's what I'm most interested in. This particular cycle, it's much easier to buy the emerging cryptocurrencies. You don't have to go to decentralized exchanges like we used to back in the Wild West of the early days of crypto. You could just go to your Coinbase or your Binance. Or, are there any other favorite brokerages that you want to mention? Well, I know we're going to talk a lot more about this on Friday, but can you just share with the folks really how easy it is to participate these days?
Yeah, and so Coinbase is really just a great option for a lot of investors. It's a publicly traded company. It follows all the same policies and procedures of other publicly traded companies in the United States. They have to report, they get audited. And so it's not like you're holding your funds in FTX where you don't know who's auditing them and they don't even have an auditor. Um, and so you have some assurance there. And so Coinbase is a great option for most people.
No, it's a great point. Why don't you show everybody? We're going to talk about all the how-to stuff on Friday, so don't worry. I know there's a lot of questions, some newcomers to cryptocurrencies, and even some old pros that can still learn a few tricks. Spencer, why don't you show the folks there? Drop the link. So for ASC Crypto, we are live, baby. We are entering trades. We're putting out ideas. We're publishing the research already. 375 for the quarter. I really like that 999 annually for ASC Crypto. Spencer, do you want to show that? There you go. 999 annually for ASC Crypto, 375 a quarter. And of course, what are you going to get? You're going to get the analysis of the blue chip cryptos, the Bitcoins, the Ethereums of the world, where we think they're going, where the risk levels are, what the targets. You're going to know at all times. And then, of course, the pun intended, the emerging crypto alerts, exactly what's climbing up the leaderboard, which ones we want to take advantage of. And then, of course, the technical signals being sent over on chain from the most successful wallets of all time. Hey guys, look at this wallet that, has been very right for a long time. And now they're buying this XYZ coin. Maybe we should take a look. Right. So you're going to get notified in exactly when we're acting on all of that. You're going to get complete access to all of the trade ideas, again, in real time. And then you're going to be able to get Friday's class or how to, right? So how to do everything. 101, Crypto 101, getting the wallet, opening up the account. Over time, we're going to talk about some additional stuff that, I'm doing on chain with some borrowing and lending. So you can learn all about that over time. Some of the staking that we're doing, we're going to talk about that. Some of the mining operations that we have going on. We're going to talk about all of these things over time. But the bread and butter here is to make money off the coins themselves. Learning about the ecosystem, learning about the mechanics and all of that. That's great. That's fun. And that has certainly helped me over the years. I'm going to talk more about how that's helped me. But at the end of the day, we're here to make money. And these tools and strategies make it very difficult for us to screw this up, right? We are trying to make it as easy as possible for ourselves, right? So of course it's gonna look easy. It's like, oh, look how simple this is. Yeah, well, there was a lot of work that went behind this to make things that simple. So we're very excited to bring this to you at a very low price and have you join us in this beautiful journey with us, which, I'm so happy to have Louis here, guys. You guys who might be getting to know Louis now for the first time. Louis has been by our side, myself, Straza, Sean, for many years. Ups and downs in the crypto markets. We've learned a lot over the years, and it took years of building and thinking to get to where we are now, from a technology standpoint, from a team standpoint, from a just ready to rock and roll standpoint. Right, Louis? Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, exactly. And so this has just been a process throughout the years to get to where we are now. We've never been more prepared for this new bull market in crypto. With our scanning ability, our proprietary scans, all this on-chain data, our technical analysis, and our mindset of how we approach this asset class. Back before, we didn't even think about all these cryptocurrencies that were emerging. Now it's almost a centerpiece of our process. And so, guys, we've never been more prepared to bring this cutting edge research to your inbox every day. And so I'm just
Yeah,
really
and
excited.
and you can't get it anywhere else. And I know that because I looked. That's why we had to build it, you see. So I know, it wasn't fun building all this stuff. It wasn't easy. Certainly wasn't cheap putting all of this together. But we needed it, right? We know what we needed. We learned from traditional markets, how to do certain things. And now that we have all of this new data and all of these tools available on chain that we did not have in traditional finance, super, super exciting. I mean, God, what I would give to have these in traditional markets. Like, forget about it. So, and for those of you guys, I'll leave this up. Spencer already dropped the link. All right, Brett is in. Anybody else in? All right. Listen, for those of you guys that are new to cryptocurrencies, that this is your first go around. You are very fortunate, right? You're very lucky at how easy things are to do now. You don't have to. I mean, we have bought cryptocurrencies on Telegram. We have swapped cryptocurrencies on Uniswap and SushiSwap, and things were more complicated back then. Things are much easier now. You could just open up a Coinbase account and just press buy, like you can in a Fidelity account or a Schwab account or a TD Ameritrade account. um you know uh so consider yourself very fortunate. So as easy as it might be these days compared to other days, I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, so we are going to go over this on Friday at 2 o'clock. The welcome video for ASC crypto members, Friday at 2 o'clock. How to, we're going to walk through first opening an account, just establishing yourself, kind of saving your wallet information, and how to do things properly and all of these things, to keep things safe, right? That's really the idea here. It's built to be safer, so take advantage of that, right?
Yep, exactly. And there's just, again, so much noise in crypto, so much jargon. People make it sound really complicated. And so I think we do a really good job of just distilling down those complexities into just something that's easy. Because to your point, JC, it's never been easier, it's never been safer to be involved in this asset class.
Yeah, and sometimes it looks complicated and scary when you're looking at Etherscan and something like that. You got all these numbers and letters. It's not necessary,
Yeah.
right? You could look at it, it's there. It's kind of a CVS receipt, is what we call it in the United States, Louis. It's there. It's there. You don't have to look at it, right? You bought your toothpaste, like, you're good, right? So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. Also, just in general, when we talk about cryptocurrencies as a lifestyle, we make it seem like this is our choice, like we choose to live this way. Folks, this is coming whether you like it or not. So it's not like we are giving in and being like, well, let's learn about the old blocking chain. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be life. So you better get to it now before it passes you by. Everything's going to be on chain, especially with all the AI deep fakes. Like, we're not going to be able to trust pictures and videos anymore. Everything has to be on chain. And that's just the way we're going as a society. So these are the companies that are building things on chain, and we want to take advantage of it, right? It's not my opinion that this is where we're going into the future. So we just need to figure out how to profit from it, and we have the tools to be able to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
Drop the link there. Drop the link in the chat. Why don't you throw up Mary's number? You guys who have any questions at all, call Mary. Friday, we encourage everybody to be there live. If you can't make it live, Friday's how-to video will be recorded and archived, so don't worry if you can't make it. And then you're getting a 30-day risk-free trial. So, guys, if you decide for any reason this is not for you, no questions asked. We'll give you 100% refund, no problem at all. But we are very, very excited to have you join us in our journey. This is a team effort. This is a group effort, navigating these markets, talking through things, getting your feedback, getting your pushback. But JC, if it's like this, why isn't it like this? That's great. We love that. And we love the back and forth. So any questions at all, you know we're here for you. Specifically Friday, guys. Any questions at all, from beginner to the most expert of questions, if you believe that might be the case, we got you. We got you. And if we don't have an answer for you, we'll go find the answer for you. We've got a lot of friends in the space, but I think for the most part, we got you covered, Louis. What do you say?
JC, I'm so ready for this new bull market. We all are. And so, guys, if you want to learn more about this, you can click the link in the chat, click the link in the description, and I'm just so pumped to begin finally making, putting out all of this research that we've been working on for the last few years.
I was going to say, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes. Now we get to show it off. Guys, Friday, 2 o'clock. Louis, I will see you there, folks. I will see you there at 2 o'clock. All ASC crypto members are going to be there. It's going to be archived and recorded. Click the link below. Start getting access to our blue chip cryptocurrency analysis. Of course, the emerging currencies that are the up-and-comers in the world. We definitely want to take advantage of those. Those are going to be the 10, 20, 50, 100 baggers. That's where they're going to come from. So we really want to focus our attention on those areas. And of course, you're going to have all the data of what the smartest wallets are buying, which cryptocurrencies they're accumulating. You're going to have that in real time. And we're going to show you exactly what to do with that, where you can find it. All of that is packaged very, very nicely for you in a beautiful little dashboard. So click the link. I will see you in there. I'll see you Friday, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I look forward to navigating this bull market together. There's all the information, guys. Thank you, Louis. I appreciate it, guys. Love you.
Thanks, guys.